Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today I have video idea number 2 for quilting a Dresden plate. Again, this is just a wall hanging for the simple idea. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the border, and I'm just going to do a flower in this border on this little wall hanging. So I'm going to drop my thread and tie it off. For those that are new, I am quilting on a King Quilter 2 Elite Special Edition. I am using a red Isacord that's 40 weight number, give me 2 seconds, 1904, and it pretty much blends very, very, very well. So I'm hoping that you can see it, at least some parts of it. I'm stitching at 10 stitches per inch in precision mode. And my flower is kind of small. I don't even know if you could see it, but I'm just going to keep stitching. I'm going to tie it off because that's pretty much my throat space. And we're going to move on to stitching in the ditch all the way around this part, around the border. So I'm just going to start down here. Tie my thread off, and I'm going to use the slim ruler to stay in my ditch all the way around. I'm not quilting in the white purposely with my red thread. I'm just staying out of it, so there's lots of tie-offs because I'm keeping out of the white area. I'm not the best at the stitching in the ditch, but tie off as far as my throat space will allow, so I'll tie off right here. snip that thread. And now I'm going to come to this side and stitch in my throat space worth around the red of the Dresden. Again, I'm just going to use the slim for this. Staying in or next to the ditch as best as I possibly can. Snip some of my threads away because I'm just making a big thread mess. Squeaking sound that you hear is actually my foot rubbing against the ruler. It does that with every single ruler I own. Alright, I'm now within my throat space. And I'm going to tie it off because I'll continue on the opposite side when I advance the quilt, which I'm going to do now. Okay, I only advanced just a little bit so that I can stick my needle down in the point right here. So I'm going to be using the points this time, and this one's going to be different than the last one, because again, it's just an idea. So I'm going to tie off right here, and this is going to take and drop my needle at the V, and I'm going to take the slim ruler, and I am just going to go all the way around the inside along the stitch line where all these were stitched down. So I'm just going to come up, stop in the corner, turn, and just go all the way around. There's already stitching from blanket stitching on here, but I'm quilting it down now with all 3 layers instead. So I'm just going to go all the way around the whole entire Dresden. At least what's in my throat space. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're landing along the edge. Go ahead and stop right here, tie it off because it's within my throat space. So now I advanced it a little, and I'm going to do the opposite side now. Just going around the Dresden. So I'm going right here, and I'm going to tie off because I already stitched right there. And now I'm going to roll it back again so that I could reach all of the Dresdens. But the first thing I'm going to do is stitch around the center circle. So for the center circle, I'm just going to use my little ruler tool, and I'm only going to stitch around the edge of this first. Pretty much just stitching in the ditch. And I think I'm going to just do like my border and just do a little flower in here. I'm going to come in and then exit on one side. So I'm going to come in and then exit. So I'm going to try to center it just a little. Just like that. I'll just leave it right there. Looks good enough to me. Again, these are just ideas. Alright, now I'm going to roll the quilt back so that I could reach all the blades. So now I'm just going to drop my needle right here. And you're thinking I'm just starting and stopping so much. Well, that's because, again, this is just an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch in a ditch all the way out, up, down, and in, over, all the way out. So every other one is pretty much, because the outside of them will be already done on every other one. So I'm just going to stitch in a ditch or next to the ditch as best as possible. And then again, I'm just going to go around this guy. And then come down this ditch right here. And then this is not getting stitched around. That's why I stitched around the whole entire thing to start. So now I'm just going to come down this ditch as best as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to follow that out to the next one and stitch in that ditch. Again, I'm not perfect with this whole stitch in a ditch thing. Of all things, that is one thing I'm just not very good at. So I'll come down this one. Follow my seam from stitching all the way around to now put you in fast forward while I stitch in the ditch all the way around. side you have some open space here. And I'm trying to keep this one very lightly quilted, very simple, is I'm going to come up right here and I'm going to make a little flower, then make a little flower right here, and then make a little flower right here and end it. Just in these corners right here. It's not going to be perfect or anything, it's just an idea. So it's going to be kind of weird because I really don't quilt like this, but I'm trying to make it fun. And most of this is within a 3-inch area, so all these edges right here, you don't really have to quilt around any of this, but I'm just making it a little fun. End right here in the edge. So now we're just going to continue on in the next corner. Tie off on the edge, and then we're going to backtrack on the quilt to the top and bottom, and I'll show you that. On to the next corner. So I'm just going to start it about right here, tie off my thread, and then you could either tie off here or you could just stitch in the ditch to the next side, which is what I'm going to do on this one. I didn't do it on the bottom, but that way I'm not breaking thread yet another time. So I'm going to come right here, make my under one, make my over one, under. And then come right here and tie it off. And that is all I'm going to do on this little quilt. So now let's look at it.